Hi everyone. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday afternoon. It's 3:02 Pacific time, that is. So, couple little things, a shift I could say, that I'm having a concert, and it was going to be July the 9th, but I just got guidance this morning while I'm sitting being, and to do it on August 23rd. And the reason being, there's spirit, and then is also that I'm performing at Langley Pride this year. And so this way I get to tell those folks that I have a concert coming up. And this concert, you're going to be able to watch it virtually or in person. So it's like everybody's invited. There's no limitations, restrictions. The one thing I will be doing is, I may not be able to do it at the time, but right after that, I will upload the live onto a private group where it will on Facebook, and where you'll have 48 hours to watch it. I'm not sure how to do this on YouTube. I know I've heard people talking about private stuff, and I went, okay. I just don't have the mindset at this time to go down. Yeah, I'll just leave it as that. Some of you guys may understand, some don't. That's okay. You don't need to understand. Just appreciate and respect that I'm doing this for myself. And so I haven't been on here in a few days, and I was about to go and finally put up my pride flag. You can see the pole right there, and mount that pole and put up the pride flag. And I could tell, and I knew that a few people are, oh, no. Just, yeah, give them something to talk about. Yeah. So if you come on here before I go do that, hang out with you guys. And I gotten guidance last night to tune my guitar to different tuning, and they showed me, because I'm not good with this stuff. I'm good at what I do, and but when it comes to figuring out the stuff out, it's like not really. But anyway, let's get at this and see where we go. Here we go. Wow, that was awakening. It's like, yeah. Ah. Hi, everyone. Welcome. If you're new to me, my name is Ernestine Day, and I am the Soulful Guitarist. And I channel this amazing energy from Source through me, through my guitar, without using words. And if you're familiar with light language, that is what I do. And I had somebody recently that I had to address them. I'll put it that way. What they said was, be quite honest, and actually, you know what, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, they just disregarded me, my abilities. And I said, don't pigeonhole me. I said, yes, I do meditative. Yes, I do sound baths. But I'm way more than all that. And that is an example. And I get a feeling that when I perform at Langley Pride on August the 9th, because I only have what was to be, and I have this one person that really doesn't like me, but it's her shit, but she's projecting that onto me. And so, you know, I have people have faith and get what I do and where it comes from, and I appreciate the Langley Pride Society itself for supporting me unconditionally as I am. And that's the main reason why I'm performing at Langley Pride this year, and which is going to be August the 9th at the Langley Senior Resource Center in Langley. This will be the third Pride at the Langley Senior Resource Center. But this year, the Senior Pride, or sorry, rephrase that, the Langley Pride Society and the Langley Senior Resource Center have come together to what's unfolding today. Hello, GNC. Hello, Anne. Hey, Jen. Hey, Brontine. But I think that's what most likely I'm going to open up with, something just like, you have no idea what my abilities are. And it's the same thing. Here's the thing, everybody. We need to stop putting feelings and emotions in a box and try to hold on to that box. They shift constantly. It's just like with me and some music that's been channeled, some is in the moment, right? But, you know, if I replay an energy that's been there before, is I never know how it wants to be expressed. Sometimes it wants to be played very deeply meditative, you could say. And other times it doesn't want to be played. And it just depends. And that's just like motions and feelings. And my guitar, I remember a while ago that I was really upset and I went live. And this is a couple of years ago, 4 years ago. And I was really upset, and I'm being vulnerable online. And then as I was talking to Sharon Bean, and then also I picked up my guitar. And as soon as I started playing my guitar, it shifted. And it was an amazing experience to experience that in that moment. And that, and also, my concert it's going to be virtual or in person. So if you live in the Lower Mainland, the date has been changed from July the 5th to August 23rd. Spirit actually guided me to do this and showed me that this way I will be able to promote it or talk about it, whatever you want to call it, at the Langley Pride on August the 9th, and hope to get a couple more people. Okay, let's see where we go. Here we go. still hear the chime. There we go. Anyway, yeah, that one was channeled earlier this year, and it stuck with me. Some do, some don't. That's okay. Oh, I'm so grateful, personally, to be raised with music in the house. My father was a fiddler, and a guitar player, and a piano player, and there was always music parties at our place or somebody else's house, and it was Scottish and Irish fiddle music, and so I was born and raised with that. And then a gentleman named John Gauthier, who lived in Summerside, PEI, a friend of my dad's, was a fiddler, and when there was a party and John did this one song called Bye Bye Bye, he did like the old swing song called Bye Bye Blues, and I just went, teach me that. And you know, because all he could actually do is teach me the chords, or show me the chords, and then the rest of it I figured out. And a few years later, I left PEI, and then I was back home visiting one time, and was at John's house, and so I said, John, let's do the Bye Bye Blues, and it was really cool because, and this is the thing about music, like it moves me. If it doesn't move me, I can't do it, right? And it's, no matter whose music it is, I don't very often play other people's music, as some of you guys know, but every now and again I do. And it's, this one, I don't know why this is popping into me now. This one here, I have to say this, and please don't take me wrong, anybody, when I go to say this. I do have an issue with organized religion because they preach hate, you know, discrimination, and etc. I'm very spiritual. I take full responsibility for myself, and I do my best to stay in my heart space and move through this world that way. And I'll be honest right now, because I said that it took away. Oh, I know what it was. Is to me, this is one of the most beautiful songs, and I think it's like 200 years old or something like that. It's well over 100 years old. But I believe it's closer to 150, 200 years old. But I have to say this, it's one of the most beautiful songs, and this is my version of this song. Hey, Joey. So this is my version of this incredible song. Here we go. Thanks, you guys. Yeah, that's my version. Um, this is something some of you guys know, some of you don't, and anybody new to me, welcome to my world. Um, this is my magic that I get to share with you all. Anyway, Looper only came into my life and into my world 4 years ago. And it has been the most amazing ride. Yeah. She, when I say this, I think it's like anybody who paints, anybody who writes, poetry or songs or whatever you do, is certain things will activate you. And if we stay in that zone, right, it just nurtures us. And what this looper has done is open up part of me that I did not have a way to express myself deeper and that. And so I've been learning how to pick for the last 4 years. I'm not good at it, but I like what I do. I'm trusting myself at a level I've never trusted myself, and I have a beautiful sister and a friend that's on here, Julie Perjean, which she's on Facebook right now. I'm running on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. And, I met her physically at Soulful Fest in Arkansas in 2022. And, yeah, it was 22? No, yeah, 23, sorry. Get my years straight here. But anyway, so Julie heard me then, and she's been very supportive. She has a podcast as well. I can't remember the name of her podcast right now, but, she wanted me to come on her podcast. I said, absolutely. And this is something you guys as well, if you have a podcast or something, you like to have me come on, I'm more than happy to come on, because I know this is my sole purpose, is to come on here and share this amazing vibration that I am, and I get to channel it the way I do. Aw, thank you, Tim. Yeah, it's, we try to copy what other people do. We take away from our own true authentic self. We don't need people's approval to do what we do. Just do what you do, and the right people who see you and appreciate and value you will show up. Because if we look or expect people to see, because this is something, my personal journey started in 1996, or my healing journey. And I got into counseling as I opened up to my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own emotions. I would channel that energy through my guitar. That's where it really started. And, of course, I was playing guitar before that, absolutely. But I was always playing for other people, but I never really did much on my own. And this incredible journey just opened me up, and that's my guitar is my soulmate. She allows me to express my authentic self within myself, and I get to share it with others. Spirit gave me my name in 2017, Soulful Guitarist, and it says everything that I am. And so I think I've got enough juice for one more. Oh, also, I just moved my concert. My concert was going to be July the 5th. You can watch it virtually or in person. I live in Langley, BC, the lower mainland of Vancouver. So if you're in the lower mainland, you can come hang out with us. So the concert's actually moved from July the 5th to August 23rd. As I'm performing at Langley Pride this year, I'm opening it up. And I'm starting at 5:30. And, I'm going to go there and just share this amazing energy through my guitar, right? But anyway, let's see where we go now. Let's see where we go. single person out here. This is not about religion. Religion has no bearing. We are all God's children. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. We get to choose what we do on this planet, but you need to take responsibility for what you do, what you say, everything. Because that's when we create our own reality. So in other words, if you think that somebody's an asshole and you keep on talking about your folks about them, well, guess what? In your mind, you're creating that for yourself. And I'm not saying there aren't assholes out there, because there is. But what I'm trying to say is be consciously aware of your thoughts and go into your heart space and go back in there and speak from that heart space that you are. Not the mind. Your heart is the link to your soul. Music I get to channel every single time I pick up my guitar. It blows me away. I'm in awe of what I get to do. I get to come on here and just share this amazing energy with you all. It's not about how good I am at what I do. For me, it's about where it comes from inside of me and me trusting this incredible ability that I have. And especially ever since the Lubra came into my life and into my world 4 years ago. This tool helped me open up to myself to express more of who I am. And I'm learning to trust myself, especially the last couple of years. It's been magical. It truly has been magical. And I'm so grateful for the people that I've got to meet physically or virtually, meaning online. I'm so grateful for every single one of you guys. You've assisted and helped me to see myself. I'm so grateful for every single one of you guys. There's no words that can even start to express my gratitude. I'm also grateful for myself, for my willingness, my desire to be free from this stuff that does not belong to me, putting it back where it belongs. And it doesn't mean this journey never ends. This journey is continuous for the rest of our lives. But it's doing our best in everything that comes up, that we find a way to heal ourselves from the wounds that are deep inside of us. I used to say this years ago, and it's very true. Nobody can make you feel anything that you already don't feel about yourself. Right? So those people feed that part of you, that self-doubt within you. You need to start listening to the people who see you for you, because I had to walk away from my entire family for that very single reason. They accused me of running away and all this stuff. No, it's not. I wasn't running away. I was running to a safe space where I could start my healing journey, which I mentioned earlier was in 1996. I lived on 5 acres for 8.5 years. And that's where this music really started. It was through that amazing part when I opened up to me and my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own emotions. And my vehicle is my guitar. And I'm so grateful for my guitar. And this is my original guitar. I've never had a second guitar. And I'd like to get a second guitar, to be quite honest. But I have a guitar that just, her and I's relationship is amazing. As you can, like, listen to this. Not listen to, but feel it. Just put your earbuds on. These vibrations that I get to channel will fucking blow my mind. Because I never know what a song's going to be played, how it wants to be expressed in that moment. I just trust and step into that and let it flow. And that's what you're experiencing right now. Because I had no idea what I was going to play. I never do. Most people know that about me. I just start, pick a note or strum a chord or whatever, and it just activates me. Okay, here we go. And I just follow that. I'm learning to trust that, especially these last 2 years. Yeah. If you put your earbuds, like all the little, I don't do it intentionally. This is intuitive channeling, you guys. Oops. Yeah. I got a whole bunch of new people here. I really want to thank YouTube from recommending me to people. And I appreciate the people that are here. If you like what I do, help me get the word out. I can only do so much at my end. And I come on here, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, anybody know me if you're on Facebook land or YouTube, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I like to get my numbers up. To me, it doesn't matter how high I go or anything. I was going to say low, but I don't want to say that word. But what I'm trying to say is this: it doesn't matter how many people subscribe. It's about the people that are here now that appreciate and value what I do. That's what matters. And so, yeah. And if anybody's curious, I use the looper I use is a Boss RC. Sorry, I'll rephrase that. RC. Yeah, it's a Boss RC 505 Mark II. I had a Mark I originally, and I upgraded it over a year ago to the Mark II. I love the Mark II. And yeah, and I have, so there's got 5 different channels, which I can add layers to them. The only time, like I want to get another looper to add to this, because this one is capable of, I can add a second looper. And so I need to add a second looper, and the reason why, because I have control over each channel, the volume. But because I only have 5 channels, and if I'm picking, I usually stay on the same channel, it just depends. But it'd be nice if I have more control over the volume of each one. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's what I'm sensing and feeling. But anyway, thank you very much for hanging out with me now. Yeah, and I'm going to be having a concert online, or you can come in person if you're in the lower mainland of Vancouver. I live in Langley, and it's going to be August 23rd. That's coming up. So, thank you very much for hanging in with me today, or yeah, hanging out with me, really. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, hugs and loves, everybody. I'll see you soon.